The Sun is undoubtedly one of the most important celestial bodies for us. It is the source of life on Earth, the star that testified the formation of our planet. It saw species appear and then vanished for ages. It is around the Sun that a great part of our culture was created. Now we are going to approach moments when the Sun has inspired our culture, beliefs, and knowledge. On September 1st and 2, 1859, occurred the largest solar storm on record. Polar auroras could be seen all over the world, from the northern hemisphere to the Caribbean. In some places, the brightness of the auroras was so intense that miners started preparing breakfast. They thought it was dawn. On August 29th, polar auroras were observed in Queensland, Australia. At about midday on September 1st, British amateur astronomers Richard Christopher Carrington and Richard Hudson independently made the first observation of a solar flare. Many people thought there was a big fire going on in the north. Others linked the event to a sign of a divine omen. The event happened because of a large coronal mass ejection which traveled to Earth and completed the 150 kilometers journey between the Sun and Earth in 17.6 hours. People who were awake at that time in the northeast of the United States reported that it was possible to read a newspaper only with the aurora light. Besides the planet's poles, auroras have been seen in places like Cuba and Hawaii. Telegraph systems in Europe and North America were shut down, and some telegraph operators have received electric shocks. Some telegraph poles sparked, and some of them continued to send and receive messages, even with their power supplies turned off. In June 2013, a group of researchers from Yards of London and Atmospheric and Environmental Research in the United States made an estimate and concluded that an event like Camstones, if it had occurred in 2013, would cause a loss of between 0.6 and 2.6 trillion dollars. Hundreds and thousands of years ago, we had little scientific and technological development to really understand what the sun was. Its light could determine a good or a bad harvest, thereby dictating whether people would have something to eat. In this context, the sun takes on the utmost importance in the universe. It receives the status of God, and one of the main sun-related deities was worshipped in Egypt. Ra, or Ra-Harakti, was associated with royalty and was considered the sun god. He was represented by a body of a man, a hawk's head, and a solar disk over his head. For the Egyptians, the god Ra was born each morning, traveled through the sky in the solar barge, and at night entered the underworld and fought against the personification of evil, the Apophis serpent, and overcame it every night so that they could rise again. In ancient Greece, there are debates about who would be the supreme sun god. Helios and Apollo are the main deities associated with the main star. Helios in Greek literally means sun. He is a Tian, son of the Tians Tia and Hyperion, brother of Selene, the moon, and Eos, the dawn. Helios was described as a male figure, and on his head he carried a crown of sun rays. Also called Phoebus Apollo in Latin, it means bright. Apollo is one of the Greek gods, son of Zeus and Latona, and twin brother of Artemis, representation of the moon. He is represented as a man, usually holding a lyre or a bow, and sometimes with a crown of sun rays on his head. In Hinduism, the representation of the sun is in charge of Surya. He is represented with a golden skin, and he appears in the sky with a carriage pulled by 7 horses. Surya is the sun god in Hindu mythology. According to Hinduism, he is considered the visible face of God. since the sun can be seen every day. In addition to that, it can be considered as a representation or manifestation of the gods Shiva and Vishnu. According to the sacred scriptures of Hinduism, the Vedas, Surya inhabits the sun itself. His sacred kingdom extends all over the length of the sun's rays. The sun god is related to the ideas of movement and revolution. Shamash was the name of the god of justice for Sumerians and Babylonians. Shamash freed those tormented by demons. Moreover, he also was the god of fertility and the sun. As the supreme judge, it was attributed to Shamash by Hammurabi the inspiration of the code of laws, known as Hammurabi Code. According to the belief, he got up every day, traveling from east to west. At night, he slept in the underworld, which had doors guarded by scorpion people. There is a relation between Christianity and the sun, and one of the main ones that is still debated. It's about the birth of Christ. The idea that Christians adopt December 25 as the date of Jesus' birth originates from an annotation of a manuscript of the Syrian bishop Jacob Bar Solip works of the 12th century. According to the notes, the date was chosen due to the celebration party that took place on the same day for the god Invictus, who was the representation of the sun for the Romans. When church representatives noticed that Christians were used to commemorate the celebrations, they decided to celebrate Christmas on the same occasion. The sun's relationship with our planet is countless, and at some point in the past, some studies began to question the divine personification of this star and decided to try to explain the object that is Earth's light source with reason. Around 506 before Christ, the Greek philosopher Anaximenes proposed that the stars are fixed in the firmament and that they revolved around Earth. 20 years earlier, his master Anaximander was the first philosopher to try to explain the movement of the stars without using mythological beliefs. The first person who questioned the idea that Earth was the center of the universe was Nicolaus Copernicus, who developed a mathematical model that replaced the Earth for the Sun as the center of everything, the heliocentrism. And in January 2020, scientists released the highest resolution image of the Sun that we have ever been able to capture. The details that this image brings of the Sun is without parallel. Captured by the Daniel K. Enway Solar Telescope, located in Hawaii, and released by the National Science Foundation, the images that were released show structures on the surface of the Sun, or grains of the image, which are approximately the size of Texas. In cinema, the Sun has been the subject of several movies. Among them, we have Knowing, released in 2009. In 1959, the character Lucinda Ambry, an elementary school student, hears whispers when she looks at the sun. Shortly after, she writes a page full of seemingly random numbers and places the pages in a time capsule on the inauguration of her school, which is expected to be open in 50 years. And in 2009, a professor of astrophysics at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, played by Nicolas Cage, receives these pages from his son who studies at the same school where the capsule was buried. He finds that the numbers are not random and that they refer to places and times where catastrophes occurred. Later in the story, he discovers that a global solar event is near. The sun is not just a source of inspiration for scientific curiosity or for movies. More than that, it is a source of energy, and it is with the help of photons that he sends to Earth that we can generate electricity. Photovoltaic solar energy has grown tremendously in the past decade. In 2010, the sun contributed with 39 gigawatts to our electrical matrix, and it was highly subsidized in countries like Germany and Italy. Today, the sun helps generate more than 500 gigawatts. The International Energy Agency projects that photovoltaic solar will be the number one energy source in the world by 2035, with the fall in technology costs, which has depreciated by more than 70% in the past 10 years. It is estimated that costs in the energy industry will be cut by 15% by 2030. With all these advances, solar energy is pointed as the cheapest source for electricity generation in the future. Solar energy is making possible a future where energy generation will be 100% clean, contributing significantly to the deceleration of climate change, helping humanity to reduce the mass extinction of species and in this way supporting the existence of our species in the centuries to come, which can be used to create more culture and knowledge about our mother star. And what other historical or scientific aspect of the sun do you think would fit here? Leave it in the comments. And don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it and to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for your attention and see you next time.